I want to thank all of you for being here because all of you are being intentional about your sales career. And I'm so excited for all of you who are in the Course Careers family. I'm on YouTube, I'm on Facebook, and I'm on LinkedIn tonight as well. So shout out to my LinkedIn, shout out to my Facebook, and shout out to my YouTube family. I appreciate all of you for your support as well. Tonight, I've got nothing to sell you. All I want to do is make sure you guys walk away with a lot of value, with a lot of knowledge. My name is Justin, and I want to thank each of you for taking the moment to join me on my Sales Ignition workshop. If you are in the Course Careers community, this is specifically for each and every one of you. Before we get started, I wanted to let you guys know that this will be recorded. So if you have peers that want to watch this at a later date, there will be a replay sent out via email, and you can view these on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn if you follow me. Guys, this is going to be a transformative night. So I hope you have your notes. It's a really brisk October night here in Greenville, South Carolina for me. And so I want all of you to sit back and relax and truly get this value. I've been selling for a little over 20 years. I started my career as a lowly sales rep, and I worked my way up to the highest levels of B2B sales for large mobility products. I've had the pleasure of working alongside some of the biggest thought leaders in mobility, and it has really changed my life. And it taught me a lot about how to refine my sales process. And a large part of where a lot of you are in your careers is trying to figure out your voice. You're trying to find your voice. You're trying to find your sales purpose, what drives you in your numbers. And a large part of the confusion around sales is, one, most of you walk into your sales calls or in your discovery calls without a process. And without a process, you are flying absolutely blind. And so today it is my goal to help all of you develop a surefire process, a process that not just refined or used by me, but it's a process that has been used by thousands of sales professionals. And specifically, those thousands of sales professionals are in the top echelon of their sales careers. Now, let me be clear. This is not just for those who want to be in the sales community, but anybody who wants to develop better communication, anybody who wants to develop better confidence, anybody who wants to develop a better way of delivering value to their customers. This is the way that you can do it. We're going to go ahead and get started on the most important part of why we are here. And that is to talk about the transformation in your sales process. Because guys, at the end of the day, sales isn't just a skill. It is a gateway to transformation on every single level. When you dive into the world of sales, you're not just learning to close deals. You're learning to influence, to communicate, and build trust with people of all walks of life. Sales teaches resilience, like self-confidence, and empathy, showing that you have a profound impact on guiding people to solutions that truly matter to them and their businesses. All right? That is what sales is. It forces you to listen deeply, to see problems from other people's perspectives, and to present ideas in a way that create real, lasting, impactful change in your customers' lives. Sales can unlock for you doors to opportunities you've never thought possible, as it did with me. Every sales call or conversation is a chance to grow, to refine your approach, and to understand human nature at its core. It's through sales that you build a powerful network, that you develop negotiation skills, and you learn how to turn challenges into stepping stones. Now, as you grow in your sales career, you're going to realize that it's not just about transactions. It's about transformations, both for you and your clients. It's a journey that doesn't just change your career. It changes who you are. It's helping you become adaptable. It's helping you become strategic. And it's helping you become a little more courageous in the faces of challenges that are thrown your way. And I promise you, if you use the next hour to internalize the knowledge that you're going to get, if you use the next hour to implement the system that I'm going to teach you today, I promise you that you are going to improve your selling ability. You're going to improve your sales performance, and ultimately, you're going to improve your conversion rates across the board. So let's get started. In today's workshop, you are going to learn that there are 12 questions that if you implement these questions into your business, into your selling system, whether you're an SDR, a BDM, a client executive, or an account executive, an account manager of any type of selling, whether you're in mobility, wherever you are in your sales career, these 12 questions that you will ask on your sales calls or on your discovery calls will absolutely transform how you do business. And it is going to guide your customers. It's going to guide them step by step as you take them to your solution, as you guide them to your offer, and of course, gain alignment to get the close. All right. So there is an old way and there is a new way of selling. The old way of selling is a focus on transactions. Sales was often focused on hitting quotas, focused on the transaction over the relationship. It also kind of focuses on high pressure tactics. The focus was on pushing products and services, sometimes without fully understanding the customer's needs. I've got on a few calls where I've watched a video sales letter, then I hop on a call and then I'm asked, hey, so what did you think about the video? Did you watch the video? And then we go right into a demo without really truly understanding what my needs are for this solution. And again, that goes to this one size fits all. The old way of selling limits customization, right? Where your pitch was often to every client, leading to objections and resistance. Now, there's a new way of selling, and it's called insight selling, where it's relationship focused. It emphasizes building trust and rapport, understanding the client's unique situation, where you're asking questions to pull out pain and to demonstrate pain to the customer. It's a consultative approach. Insight selling is about asking the right questions to uncover true needs and priorities before positioning a solution. And lastly, it's personalized and adaptive because everybody's different. Every CEO or VP of sales or director of sales or that small business owner you're going to have a conversation with, they all come from different walks of life. They're all going to have unique situations and unique problems in their business that your solution is supposed to solve. And you can't one size fits all the old way. Okay? You cannot one size fits all the old way. Because the old way of selling is going to keep you with low close rates, okay? A lot of objections. And it's going to get the customer to be more resistant, and then you'll have to go to a 2-call close, a 3-call close, and before you know it, the customer's ghosting you. Okay? So we want to focus on the new way of selling. All right? And so now that we've explored why, what we're going to be doing, or the old way versus the new way, now we want to talk about what is insight selling. Insight selling is a direct sales process. It's a sales process that allows you to truly take advantage of your customer's time. It allows you to build rapport. It allows you to establish a connection. You're going to uncover needs. One of the things I say in my coaching program, where there is no pain, there is no purchase. If you cannot demonstrate pain for the customer, you're never going to get the customer to buy. Because at the end of the call, how are you going to overcome an objection if you haven't really built enough value and enough pain where the customer feels like this solution is actually going to solve a problem, that your solution is going to solve a problem? And then it explores the impact of an action, right? We call it the cost of inaction, right? Instead of ROI, return on investment, You have COI, cost of inaction. If you're asking yourself, how much longer am I going to stay in this position? What is it costing you as a sales professional right now that your close rate is 30%? How much is it costing you to not have a process, to not have a system? That is the same question you should be asking your customers in this process as well. And we're going to explore that. And then it allows you to position your solution as the only solution, because then you've listened to your customer, you've internalized, you've taken some good notes, you've summarized really well. And then we move into confirming and getting agreement and alignment with your customer and moving towards a decision or towards a close. Now, one of the things that I do in every call, you must set an agenda. Think about this. When you go to the doctor and you're in the waiting room and the nurse says, the doctor's ready to see you. And you walk in, the doctor's going to ask you, at least if you're in America, the doctor's going to ask you, what's your name? What's your date of birth? Right? And then after that, you smile, you give that to them, and then they're going to say, what brings you in today? Because the doctor is the expert. Let's get to the point. Let's get to why you're here. Trust me, if you got a spider in your ear, you don't want to do a whole lot of small talk about, last night's football game. But when you set an agenda, you immediately establish authority. You minimize small talk. Because when you are small talking with your client, you remove yourself as the expert. They're here because they want you to solve a problem. They're on that call because they want you to solve a problem. It sets a professional tone by clearly outlining the agenda. So what I want you to do when you set your agenda, okay, you're going to do a brief introduction, okay, a brief introduction. Something like this. I'll introduce myself. So your agenda will go like this. Hey, John, I want to thank you for taking the time to meet with me today about X solution or X problem. Hey, do you mind if I set a quick agenda real quick? I'm going to introduce myself briefly, and I'm going to share a little bit about my role. Hey, John, my name is Justin. I'm a solutions executive for Ingram Micro or for AT&T or for T-Mobile or wherever you work. And my solution is designed to help customers like you. All right? So you start with your introduction, setting your agenda, then you move to the purpose of the call. So today's call is understanding your specific needs and exploring if our solution could be a good fit. Purpose of the call, and then an outline of the call structure. So John, today's call is to really understand your needs. I want to understand what your needs are, what your pain points are in your business, so that I can hopefully see if our solution is a good fit for you. Sound good? All right, John. Next, I'm going to give you a structure of how this call is going to go. We're going to discuss your challenges and your goals. And then I'm going to walk through some ways that we typically help clients like yourself. And then we're going to discuss next steps if we are in alignment. Right? Does that make sense to everybody? Because when you are in alignment with your customer, when you set that agenda, the customer's going to say, guess what? Oh, sure. Sounds good. Okay. So you want to set a strong agenda so that you do not leave anything to chance. Now, once you've set a strong agenda, we're going to walk through the questions that you're going to ask and why these questions are so impactful. All right. Now, what is inside selling and what are the stages? What are the stages? We're going to go back to the stages, right? Again, stage one, there are questions that build rapport and establish connections. Stage two, we're going to uncover needs and deep-rooted motivations for why they're on the call. These first three stages, you should spend the most time in these first three stages. Okay, your call should go no longer than 1 hour. And this first three stages should take you about 45 minutes. If you've done this right, I promise you, I've seen it in my own career. I've seen it in some of my old students' careers. If you've done this correctly and it's time to get to the close and it's time for you to present your price, present your offer, you're going to get little resistance. Yes, if your price is high, you're going to get a pricing objection, but it's not going to be the pricing objection that you think about, that it's a value objection. It might be a sticker shock objection where you might have to go down a value chain again, but I promise you, the customer now knows that this solution is going to solve the pain that you pulled out over the last 45 minutes. Okay. Now, let's get into the questions. And if you find yourself handling many objections at the end of a call, it's likely because a key question was missed or not explored deeply enough early on. The framework you're going to learn tonight is designed specifically to address needs and concerns up front. It reduces the objections at the end. And that is why you want to always ask these questions and dig deeper. And we'll talk about how we dig deep into these here shortly. Now, first question we're going to ask. Hey, John, what inspired you to consider a solution like ours? This is the first question you want to ask. Why do you want to ask what inspired you to consider a solution like ours? They've been browsing, they found you on Facebook, they found your content on YouTube. You want to ask them, what inspired you to consider a solution like ours, John? The purpose of this question, it uncovers the motivation and context. It helps you build connection based on their needs. Okay? It helps you build a real connection based on their needs. Now, the next question we're going to ask is something along the lines of, how is this issue affecting you or your team? How is this issue affecting you or your team? And so why is this question relevant? And it's a very, very important question. And I really want you guys to really dig deep on this question, okay? When you're on your sales call, you must dig deep. And the reason why, because it shows empathy. It shows that you're exploring how the issues are impacting their day-to-day lives. And it's showing that you care about their team. Remember, the goal of sales is to take a customer away from pain and to pleasure. And in order to do that, you must demonstrate to them how painful the situation they are in is, and that your solution can take them to pleasure. But in order to do that, you must make them tell you how this is affecting their team and their own personal lives. For example, let's say a mobility or an IT CEO runs a managed service company with about 5 or 6 salespeople, a couple of engineers, a couple of installers. He's running about $1 million operation. And you say, hey, John, how is the issue of the lack of sales affecting you and your team? Well, Justin, if I can't grow my sales, if I can't get better sales, right? Because sales is the oxygen that makes your business grow, right? Cash is the blood. Sales is the oxygen. You cut off sales, your business chokes to death. All right? After a while, then your cash reserves go away. But now your customer's going to tell you, Justin, man, it's been rough. I can't make payroll. Man, I got sales reps that can't close. I'm missing out on $70,000, $80,000 deals. And it's not just about how it's impacting the business, guys. What do you think that's doing to that CEO's personal bottom line? Maybe he or she can't take a salary. And that's where you want to get to. You want to get down to where it's emotional for the customer. Okay? And then you want to show empathy, nodding your head, turning your head to the side, really showing curiosity. All right? And now in the next phase, we want to uncover needs and deep-rooted motivations. Once you've already asked them what inspired you to bring you on the call today, hey, Justin, I've been experiencing low sales. I haven't been getting enough leads. I can't grow my business. I used to be in lawn care. Leads is everything. For some guys, it's hiring. I can't hire fast enough. I can't find good quality talent. How can I change this? If I can't find good quality talent, I can't grow my business, right? And then you ask them, how has this issue been affecting you? How long has it been affecting you? Man, it's been 2 years. It's now just not affecting my bottom line. CEOs get stressed out. I've been there. I've been there at night when you can't make payroll and you're borrowing money and your credit line is maxed out. That's how these guys are being affected. And that's the pain you want to pull out. So, Mr. John, what challenges are you facing with your current process? If you're in sales, if you're a student, one of my students, right? You don't have a process. I know many 1% sales reps who go in their sales call, do a bunch of small talk about the NFL game last night or politics or whatever the case might be, and it's 10 minutes before you actually get to talking about the business. Why do we want to ask what challenges are you facing with your current process? Because it understands their current pain point and the daily struggle, right? You want to understand what it's doing in their business. If you're working in supply chain, you have a customer that cannot get their supplies in time, that can't move their goods and services in time. How is your solution going to help them solve their problem? What is that costing them, right? We all remember during COVID, and there's that giant backlog that led to a lot of our price increases here in America and around the globe for that matter. When you see in the Suez Canal, all these ships backed up. And so our supply chain was heavily affected. It raised prices. And so what happens when you have a CEO whose now prices and goods are more expensive? He's got to pass that cost off to his customer. And then, of course, some of his customers are going to leave. So you want to understand what their current pain points truly are. And you got to dig deep, guys. You've got to dig deep. Now, you also want to ask a question like, how would an ideal solution like this improve your current situation? You must get them to answer this question. So, John, how might my solution, how can you envision a solution like ours improving your situation? Well, it's going to save me a little bit more time. It's going to get me my goods and services on time. It's going to help me lower my costs, make me more efficient. When you lower costs, of course, you have more money on your bottom line, your margins go up, etc. Okay? So it gets them to envision what success actually looks like with a solution in place. Maybe not your solution, because we don't know yet if your solution can really solve their problem, but maybe something else can. But we still want to get them to envision what it looks like. And we want to ask, what results are you looking to achieve with a new solution? What do you want to accomplish? It could be hiring more employees. It could be expanding the sales group. It could be expanding, his market share. It could be expanding into new markets, right? It identifies a specific outcome they're seeking, and you want to get specific. Let's say you're working with real estate agents. At the end of the day, real estate agents want one thing. They want listings. How can you get a real estate agent more listings at the price they demand? Right? I was working with a real estate agent a couple of weeks ago selling $1 million properties. His only goal was, Justin, if you can get me properties, $500,000 to $1 million, you can get me 10 of those in 6 months, we're good. So you want to make the customer get really specific. We want to make sure that we can get really specific. Are there specific features that are a must-have for you? We want to make sure that we highlight what are the top priorities you need in this solution. All right. And now we're going to explore the impact. So once we have gotten the problem and the pain, we understand where they're coming from, you've had a real conversation with these people, you just get a chance to know at a deeper level who your customer is. And so now you want to explore the impact because you want to encourage your customer, right? You want to encourage them to consider the consequences of not addressing their needs. You must tell them the cost of inaction. So you may want to do that with a question like this. How is this issue affecting your team or department? If you haven't already asked this question already, I ask them again. So John, how is this affecting your team or department? Broadens your understanding of how the issue impacts the entire team, not just them in their daily lives. This is about the company in general. Are we losing revenue? Are we losing profits? All right. John, what would you say is your primary concern about making this change? Justin, man, I have not done this in 3 years. It's going to really slow the business down, right? I sell a SaaS solution that helps customers organize their business. And if you are a small business owner in the services space and you have a CRM or a customer relationship management tool, you understand how painful it is to switch systems. You've got all your credit cards on file. I had a customer that had 3,000 customers in his database. Out of those 3,000, 1,700 or so had their credit card on file. It is a nightmare to get customers to move their systems over unless it's seamless. And so you might encounter a customer that says, Justin, it's going to take too much. It's going to disrupt the business. So you invite them to share reservations or hesitations, making them feel understood, because later you're going to assuage those hesitations by explaining your process to them and how you get them to the end goal. All right. Hey, John, what's the biggest obstacle to implement a solution like ours? John, can you think of an obstacle? It can be, again, time. Think about it. Some of these big projects, if let's say you're in IT and a customer is on, I don't know, the old Microsoft security feature, or for example, at my current business, we have to refresh all of our PCs. Every 3 years, we got to get new PCs. And it can be disruptive. And so you have to assuage the customer and let them know that our solution minimizes that. But you want to surface potential roadblocks, allowing you to address those concerns. Again, remember, guys, this reduces your having to overcome these objections at the end. You're spending all of this time in the beginning going through the discovery phase to uncover these concerns so that in the end, during your demo assuages those concerns. And at the end of the call, when it's time to present your offer, you're not struggling spending 30 minutes trying to overcome every single one of them. If there is one question that you should ask, if there's one question that is the most important question that you should ask in every sales call, I don't care what it is. In every sales call, you should ask, is there anything else? Or what did I miss? Because at this stage of the call, you are now going to summarize the call. As a diligent and professional salesperson, you have taken great notes. You have paid close attention. And now you summarize to the customer, almost to the T, everything they've told you. You literally read back to them everything y'all just talked about over the last 45 minutes. Everything. So, John, just so I have this right, here's what we're working with. And at the end of that summary, you're going to lean in, turn your head to the side, and you're going to say, John, did I miss anything? Is there anything else? And John's wheels are going to spin. They're going to spin a little bit more. And they're going to rattle off 3 more things. Oh, yeah, there's this. Oh, yeah, and then there's this. Oh, yeah, and then there's this. and you're going to write your notes. You're going to shake your head, and then you're going to ask again, is there anything else, John or Sarah or Susan? Is there anything that I missed? And the reason why this question is so powerful, I love this question, because it gets the customer to really, really think deeper. Because these are therapy sessions. These are personal sessions where a customer can sometimes, I've had customers reveal to me, Justin, I'm $2 million in the hole. Justin, I cannot hire fast enough. Justin, I've lost $150,000 this quarter. Justin, I can't make payroll. If you've ever talked to a CEO or a business owner that can't make payroll, it is one of the most painful conversations you'll ever, ever, ever have. So after you ask the client, is there anything else? You're going to summarize, and then you're going to position your solution. You're going to move right into the demo. And it's going to go something like this. So, John, I want to thank you for all of that information. Sarah, I want to thank you for all that information that you just gave me. I really think that our solution can help you, but you tell me. And now you want to connect your solution to their needs. And it sets up a natural transition into the demo, guys. All right? You want to acknowledge the key challenges. Okay, so John, X pain point and X goal are your top priorities for you, yes? So John, would it be helpful if I showed you how our solution and how our process can help address some of these areas of concern for you in your business? And so I'm really just going to focus on what's relevant to you, okay? And then if after I go through what's relevant to you, you have any more questions or any more concerns, I can then go into that as well. But you want to immediately go into the part of your solution that solves the problem that they made their top priority. Okay? Your solution solves that problem particularly well. All right? And you go into your solution. During that demo, you may want to ask John a question, or Sarah, have you tried other solutions? What worked, what didn't, John? What worked, what didn't, Sarah? Yeah, have you tried a solution like ours? Yeah, I worked with XCRM. I worked with HubSpot, or I worked with Salesforce, and they did this and they did that. Oh, okay, our solution does similar or does something better. Let me show you. Okay. Highlight what makes your solution better. Okay. What is your timeline for implementing a solution like this, John? Can you tell me a little bit about a timeline? We want to do it in the next 3 months. We want to do it in the next 2 weeks. We want to do it in the next 6 months. If you're in real estate and the customer tells you, or a potential buyer or a potential seller tells you, I want to do it in a year. Well, you're not going to waste your time with that customer. You're going to put them in your nurture sequence, and you're going to see them in 6 months. You'll see them in 9 months. You'll start that conversation up 9 months from now, right? The purpose of this is to gauge their urgency, and it helps them map out and plan their next steps. Now, John, Sarah, let me ask you a question really quick. How will you measure the success of our new solution in your business? Like, this ensures that their solution or your solution aligns with their evaluation criteria. Now, I know I just said a whole bunch of things, but let me tell you how powerful this process is. I'm going to tell you how powerful this process is. If you're in one of my courses, I share what I call the best sales call I've ever had. I share what I've called the best sales call ever. Literally, the best sales call ever. If this is done correctly, if honed to your voice, to your tone, to your personality, when you ask the customer this question, they're going to be so excited to tell you how they're going to prove to you how good your solution can work for them. That's how powerful when you can get the customer on the same side of the table as you. When you can get that customer on your side of the table, and this solution is designed to help the both of us, we both win. Your customer will be a raving fan of your solution before they ever use it. they'll be so excited to get ready because you've built so much pain. You've built so much urgency. The customer now understands fully that your solution is the only solution that can solve their problem, and they're ready to rock and roll and get ready to go. That's the power of this process. And now we move into the close. This is where the selling begins. Now, I've been talking for about 45 minutes, but this is where the selling begins. Everybody knows that the 1%ers, all right, the 1%ers are the ones who come in and close and who can handle objections. Okay. As a seasoned closer myself, someone who closed big deals, I can tell you this is where the sale happens. You want to confirm alignment and you want to move towards a decision. Hey, John, really quick, before I go ahead and give you my offer, who else will be involved in this decision-making process with you? Hey, Sarah, you mentioned earlier you and your husband make big decisions together like this. Does he need to be a part of this decision-making process? Right? If the customer says, yes, I need my director of sales, I need my director of IT, I need my director of operations on a call. Hey, do you mind if we can get them on now? Can we get them on the call right now? Again, urgency. So, hey, John, you said you're ready to get this thing started. Why wait a day? Is he busy? Is he available now? Right? If not, you're going to move to a 2-call close. But they're necessary, right? You want to get the decision maker on the call right now to avoid last-minute delays. Let's get James on the call right now. Let's do it now. Right? And again, if you haven't already covered this, right, how will you measure success? Sarah, can you really go into how you measure success with a solution like ours or with any solution like this? How does your business measure success? And again, they can tell you, I don't know. And then you can tell them, here's how we help you measure success with monthly reporting, daily reporting, a monthly call review. I know for me, I managed several hundred customers, right? But my big 10 customers had a call with me every single month. My big 3 customers, I had a call with them every Friday. My big 3 revenue drivers, we had a call every Friday. And so you can build that kind of value by building that confidence by saying, hey, Sarah, I know in the past, some of these other companies have sold you guys into these solutions and leave you hanging. Not with us. We have weekly, bi-weekly, monthly calls. We do a quarterly business review with you to track our success in your business. We're not just an auxiliary. We want to be an extension of your business, right? So why is this process so impactful? The reason why you want a system in sales is because you need to be able to replicate, systematize, and make it easier for you to spot check yourself where and how you're going to adjust your conversation. First and foremost, all of your calls should be recorded. Okay? The best salespeople record their sales calls. Okay? It's like watching film. It's like watching film. Every great athlete, the LeBron James, the Peyton Mannings, the Tom Brady's, the Patrick Mahomes, they watch film. And in order for you to be great at this, you're going to have to record your calls, listen to your calls, no different than tonight. I'm going to go record this and listen to this whole thing all over again. Where could I have been better? And you're going to hear yourself and say, you know what? I could have asked that question with a little bit of a different inflection. Now, I do not want you to ask these questions like this. This is your framework. You're going to put your voice behind it You're going to put your personality behind it. You're going to put really good tone and inflection behind it. And if you get my one-on-one coaching, I teach you how to practice tonality and inflections. But you need a system. In any business, you need a system, right? You need a sales system. You need a hiring system. Why do you need systems? Replication, auditing. I can audit a system. I didn't ask this question right. I didn't use the right tonality in this question. My tonality in this question created resistance in the customer, because your tone can create resistance in your customer, right? So you want to use this framework not to ask these questions directly like this. I know I have to establish a connection. I know I have to uncover needs, right? I know I have to get a deep understanding of my client's needs. I have to ensure that my solution aligns with those needs. I want to explore impact so I can reduce objections at the end. This is called free handling objections. If you are good at this, one of my sales coaches that I learned from calls this objection blocking. You want to block the objection before it even gets to you. You want to position your solution, your demo, and then you want to confirm a decision. Hey, John, so are you ready for the next steps? Hey, John, now that my demo's over and we understand now that nobody else is going to make the decision, are you ready to move on to the next steps? Hey, John, I have this solution. My solution is $6,000 a year. You can pay me all up front and get a 33% discount, or you can pay monthly with a retainer, lose that discount, but you still get all the same value that anybody who pays yearly upfront does. It's just now we're making it a little more affordable and a little easier on your cash flow to do it this way with a monthly retainer. And we'll get into later on into some other workshops. We'll get into pricing strategies and things like that. But this process is designed to encourage self-evaluation. It's designed to keep the customer in control of the conversation. Yes? I know it sounds kind of silly, right? But it is truly designed to keep the customer in control. You might ask, Justin, how does it do that? Throughout that entire conversation, you've allowed the customer to talk. You've only asked 12 questions, maybe 15 with, is there anything that I missed? Right. You've been only asking questions, not in your head. Because insight selling, it builds trust. And the one thing I keep saying, guys, is you have to demonstrate pain. Where there is no pain, there will be no purchase. And so if you're getting an objection, man, Justin, that seems kind of expensive. $6,000 is expensive to losing $150,000. You didn't build enough value. If somebody at the end of my call has a $150,000 problem and then tells me that my $6,000 solution is too expensive, I've not done my job. And I encourage you to make sure you hone this framework. Now, if you want to get one-on-one individualized help with this framework, I am available to you guys. I'm going to make sure that this recording is sent to you guys in your email, hopefully by tomorrow or by Wednesday or Thursday of this week. I do have a full-time job outside of my sales coaching, and I've got some VPs and some pretty big important people coming to our town, and I've got a lot of work to do to get ready for that. Nonetheless, I'm going to edit this part out too. Nonetheless, this has been such a I'm so thankful that you guys all came. Now, what I want to do really quick here is I want to see if I can answer questions that you guys might have of me. So give me a second to get into my control room so that I can see if you guys have any questions for me inside the chat. If you are inside the chat, please ask any questions you might have. But before I do, while you guys are getting your questions together, I want to encourage you guys, seriously. I have been at my lowest points throughout the last couple of years, and it's because of the imposter syndrome. It's because the lack of confidence. It's because you're listening to the wrong people. You're associating yourselves with the wrong people. Let me tell you this. Because you're on this call, you are intentional about your sales career. Whether you're starting business development manager like I was back in 2018, or whether you are a seasoned solutions executive or an account executive or a client executive, I have met with client executives who are struggling right now to meet quota. I want to help you guys avoid that by helping you structure your conference calls, structure your calls in a way that builds authority, builds trust, uncover needs, all right, and then moves you more efficiently to your customer's close. And this framework's going to help you do that. Now, next week's workshop, I'm going to send out another reminder, guys. Next week is going to be powerful because we're going to tackle objections. This is, I'm telling you guys, going to be a banger of a workshop. Let me tell you why. I'm going to tease it a little bit. I'm going to tease a little bit of this. There are 5 objections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. There are 5 objections that you will ever get in a business. That's it. 5. No more, no less. There are 5 objections that you're going to get in any sales conversation. And I want to give you those 5 objections next week and tell you how to overcome them. And I'm going to tease a little bit more. 2 of those objections are complete smokescreens. 2 of those objections are complete smokescreens. They are lying to you, they're bluffing you, and they're trying to tell you a nice way to say no. And if you can solve for these 5 objections, first of all, this process, this framework avoids that. But when you do get objections, there are only 5 you're going to get. And if you can nail these 5, you will be an unstoppable force in sales. I want to thank all of you, those of you on Facebook, those of you on LinkedIn, and those of you on YouTube. I want to thank all of you for coming tonight and learning about inside selling and learning how to use these 12 practical questions to move your customer from complete stranger to client. And if I promise you, if you implement these into your process tomorrow, you will see immediate changes in your sales conversations. And I'll leave you with this one more thing. The last hour that I've spent with you, that we spent with each other, will mean absolutely nothing. And I mean, it will mean nothing if you do not take what you've heard tonight and apply it. It's no different than, for me, I don't read a book unless I'm ready to take action on what I'm reading. And so if you're not taking the time to implement at least one of these questions into your sales process, you have wasted an hour. So I want to see you guys next week where we're going to be handling objections. And maybe I might invite somebody into our conversation to role play with me. Because again, the best role play, and if you're in my cohort or in my sales coaching, we do extensive and intensive role play. But nonetheless, I can't wait to see you guys next week. You guys have been a pleasure to work with, and I can't wait to hear about the success stories that you all have from implementing this inside selling solution into your sales process. You guys have a good night, and I'll see you next week.